boys and girls, students of secondary education, students of tertiary education, students of Dhamma classes, parents, grandparents, teachers of moral education and Dhamma classes. Good morning. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Now, we are going to have a presentation which is of great importance, particularly to the younger ones, the secondary students, the tertiary education students, and also the youth members, people who ride motorcycles, and also perhaps people who drive cars or even ride bicycles. This is a very important thing because this problem is prevalent in our country and has caused a lot of suffering to the people involved as well as to their family members. And I've titled this Better Safe Than Sorry. Actually, this better safe than sorry is a proverb. And to illustrate the meaning, I'm going to tell you the story of Shizam. Now, the text of this presentation are in English and Bahasa Malaysia, but the narration will be in English. Now, the translation for Bahasa Malaysia has been done using Google Translate. There might be some imperfections, but generally, I would say quite good. So, before we launch the PowerPoint, let me check the setup. All right, to make sure that it is correct. The setup, okay. And now, let us launch the PowerPoint. You can see the cover slide. The proverb reads, better safe than sorry. Bahasa Malaysia, you read something like, lebih baik selamat daripada menyesal. Now, this is a story that I got from the internet, and I did some editing and then put in the pictures so that you get a better idea and to be aware of the important things that you need really to pay attention to, right? Now, of course, here I just put in some, monkeys. Monkeys, you might sometimes do very, very funny things which human beings should not do, right? So, let me take off my video image first. Now, let us go on to the second slide. Now, before we go to the story, I would like to explain the meaning of this proverb so that you can have a better understanding, can think about it. Better safe than sorry. Meaning of this proverb is wiser to be cautious and careful than to be hasty or rash. And so do something you may later regret. And that's what is happening today. Many people are not wise enough to be careful, to be very mindful and cautious. And then they just act on impulses, very reckless, hasty, rash, and then they do something that brings unpleasant consequences. And then later on they regret. That is what this proverb is trying to tell us. So there are a few points you have to note. It is always better to refrain from taking rash decisions. That means it is always better not to just make very fast, hasty decisions without thinking wisely, mindfully, and carefully. But many people like that, they just act on impulses, especially when they have friends and their friends egg them on, do this lah, this lah, okay lah. They don't think further. And then later on, something unpleasant happens and they regret for the rest of the life. That's what this story will tell you. Every situation needs to be looked into and analyzed before embarking on the plan of action. In fact, every time that we want to act, it's important that we think before we act and not act. Then later on, when something happens already, then only you start thinking it's useless, it's too late, isn't it? So think before you act, not act and then think, isn't it? And there are situations in our life, actually for all people, see, not only for the young and only even the middle age and old people. You just have to think and consider carefully the actions before you carry them out. Otherwise, you might be making very stupid, foolish decisions and then carry out very foolish actions and then bringing about unnecessary suffering, right? Even if it is time consuming, it is better to be safe than to get into dangerous situations or trouble, which make you feel sorry later. You say, yeah, I have no time to think and reflect. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's worthwhile to spend some time, especially very important issues like deciding on your career or taking a course that you want to in the university, right? Or many other things of life. So these are important points pertaining to the proverb, better safe than sorry, that you have to pay attention to. Now let us go to the story, which is slide number 3. And the story I've titled, The Story of Shizam. It sounds very close to the Hokkien Chi Cham. Chi Cham means terrible situation. It's in that Chi Cham. But this is Shizam. That's the name of this guy, right? Shizam was a fun-loving teenager who loved adventures and challenges. So from here, you can hear that Shizam, a teenager, and he was in college. So probably should be 17, 18, or 19, right? But some enter also at the younger age, but the teenager, remaja, and he love all the cabaran. People challenge him, come, let's fight and see who will win. Come, let's do a boxing game, right? Come, let's go and do this bungee diving or, scuba diving. It's not that we cannot do those things like scuba diving, bungee, all this you have to think carefully whether you are trained enough, you know what it's all about, the precautions and so on, right? So he was well trained in martial arts. Like here you can see probably the karate chop with the leg, right? But many people I notice, the young ones, they abuse the martial arts that they learn like in karate, tansudu, or taekwondo, right? And they will do very rash things. I remember the time when I was teaching in the school, my last few years before I retired, outside the lab that I was looking in, these students, Form 5, Form 6, they would come and then they would train, imagine along the corridors, kick this, kick that, and they kick the notice board of the Science Society, just like this. So you see, not mindful, not careful, causing trouble. When you damage the glass panes of the notice board, isn't it? And then sometimes they go and play the pool with other friends and give the side kick, what kick, and all those things. And then the poor player got hurt, So a lot of abuse, so you have to be careful. So this fella Shizam often undertook dangerous assignments, people challenge him, you can run around the field 10 times or not. He must know whether he is capable or not, whether he has had any heart condition or things like that. So all sort of things that you say can. He wants to act macho. So his parents, of course, used to be very worried about his reckless nature and his, take it easy, not thinking wisely, that sort of thing. Right? So, of course, the parents would counsel him, would tell him you have to be careful and so on. But he like, did not want to pay attention. He said, yeah, don't worry, I know how to jaga myself. That sort of thing, So there's this Shizam character, right? So These are just animated images, a few to capture your attention. Now let us go on to the next slide, which is continuing the story. So he was especially fond of riding his motorbike at great speed, which often left onlookers stunned and gaping open mouthed. Now, from here, you gather that probably it might be 18 or 19. They probably have got a license already to ride a motorbike. But unfortunately, he was quite reckless. And he liked to speed. You find many accidents happen because people speed in a reckless manner. You have seen, you have heard of the dangers of the mud pit. And now also you have the motorbike, reckless people. What mud rampage, mud lajak or what is it? I also forgotten the term. Using bicycle now, racing recklessly. So people who are around, of course, are seeing him speeding. Wow, you got shocked also lah. It's terrible, isn't it? Speeding, especially in areas where you have other vehicles and other people. So like you can see the cartoon here. People seeing this, he's speeding, also will be very shocked. He doesn't realize that he should put a sticker on his motorbike. Speed thrills, but kills. Kills. Very thrilling, I think. So these are the people who are foolish, foolhardy. So the college authorities also knew about him speeding, sometimes within the college campus. So they warned him already several times, right? That you see your other classmates or other college mates looking at this, you're setting a bad example to other students. You're trying to project yourself like a hero. So there will be other foolish ones also, right? They want to follow lah, especially maybe those younger than him. Maybe if he's 18, 19, there might be 17-year-old students there. They also want to aid lah, to imitate his rash driving, riding the motorbike. But this Shizam will not want to listen to anybody. He will laugh away all the warnings. Admonitions means warning. He laugh away all the admonitions by saying, you know what he was saying? Don't worry lah. I have perfect control of my motorbike and I'm confident of my abilities. I know what to do, when to slow down also. I know how to use a brake. All this talk lah. And today you see in our society, you have so many like that, isn't it? And you have the most serious being the rampant. And this problem is a big problem, right? Accidents have happened. And then these rampies with their reckless driving, racing in maybe the middle of the night, they can bring harm not only to themselves, to others. So this is a very serious problem. Very important, I feel, that these students, why are they like that? Why are these youth members like that? From young, actually, they must be taught very strictly, carefully by the parents, especially, and also in schools. So when these fails, and they pick up, it's very easy to pick up all those bad habits. Good things are difficult to learn. So they pick up all these bad habits, so they don't bother lah. They just want to get the thrill in a foolish manner. So there was this person, Shizama. So let's see what happens. It will be related to the proverb. That better safe than sorry. Now let us go on to the next slide. And of late, they will go from one step to another. Firstly, will be racing first, speeding, riding at a very high speed. Then after that, they will try to, maybe even modify their bikes, They go to workshops and spend unnecessary of the money. Some are on scholarships, so they use the money, right? And then some parents give them the motorbikes and so on. No control already. And then we're going to modify their motorbikes so that the motorbikes can move even faster, or motorbikes can do certain things, all those stuff. So you know what he was trying to do? He was practicing riding the bike on a single wheel. I think you have seen that in the rampant race. They will ride very fast, and after that suddenly lift one of the motorbike wheels up. Probably the front wheel, they lift up, and then just riding on the back wheel only, one wheel. And then their body will be like Superman on the try to go parallel with the motorbike. All sorts of stunts which shouldn't be performed in the highway, on the roads. Because you lose control, then terrible things can happen, isn't it? And in fact, he had already experienced, this Shizam, experienced some accidents already. He has skidded because he tried to ride on one wheel, and then if the road are not so, not very good condition, not in good condition, so it could skid, so the motorbike will fall over, just like this, you can see. So you will have injuries, isn't it? Several times it happened already, hurt himself. But then after that treatment already, forget all those things already, and start all over again. Right? He already set his mind on achieving the feat, He say, oh, I must be able to do these things, just like what you see the Marampit doing. Riding on one wheel, and then, turning the bike this way, that way. All sorts of these stunts. This is not a movie, where the stuntmen perform this as entertainment. This is real life, So good friends have advised him, teachers have advised him, parents, the principal, but he didn't want to listen. But some lousy friends, there are lousy friends, these are the fools. They say, very good, Jizam, wow, fantastic, you, they praise him, everything, wow, the ego boosted up, very proud of his adventurous nature, very proud of his feats, what he could do with the motorbike, Go ahead and do, right? Yeah, you find that you are a hero, so many admire you, all the girls all admire you, These are foolish friends. You should not associate with foolish friends. The Buddha taught in Mangala Sutta, don't associate with the fools, associate with the wise ones. There are some good friends, wise ones, they caution him. Not many, majority, they're not really good friends and say, be careful, I think it's not advisable, right? No, very few like that. Mostly will encourage him, his classmates, will encourage him, very good, And then they watch him doing, just like a show, maybe in certain parts of the campus, or maybe Rampit style also, at night, that sort of thing. Wow, it was a real headache, this Shizam, with his reckless driving. Of course, the parents were very, very worried, isn't it? It's quite natural, the parents will be very worried. So I hope you catch the important lessons as the story develops. Not yet, we haven't reached the highlight of the story yet. Because this one is not very accurate because it shows a bicycle, whereas the story involves. But in the bicycle also the same thing. You find some people ride bicycles out in the road, you so reckless without helmet also. They thought, bicycles, no law to say that cyclists must wear helmets. So, and they speed also, I've seen cyclists speeding, And then some also try to do the stunts, like riding on one wheel. Even cyclists also I've seen riding on one wheel along the roads. Now, what happens if he loses control and he falls over onto near the middle of the road, and then there's an oncoming vehicle? The oncoming vehicle will go over him, and his legs can be fractured. You may have to saw the leg also. I've seen cases also. I went to see one, I remember many years ago, a Pompoy boy. I think he was riding a motorbike, the case. Accident happened. So, the leg got injured very bad already. Gangrene set in, that means infection set in, turning black certain parts. So the doctors told him, and the parents also, that they have to saw off his leg, call it amputate, to saw off his leg, one part below the knee. But then, the thing spread so fast, then it ran, the spreading of the gangrene went up, Then after that, later on, the doctors told him, no, now we have to saw your leg above the knee already, not below the knee, above the knee. So you're losing a major portion of the leg. So the boy, probably was just around 16 only, 16 or 17. So he was crying, too late already, isn't it? So actually, I just saw an actual case like that. So you visit the hospital, you go to the orthopedic wards or what, all sorts of injuries, accidents of motorcyclists and so on. So now let us go on to the next slide, which is slide number 7. Now one day, Shizam was provoked to ride his bike on a single wheel by a few college students, inside the college campus. And he immediately took up the challenge. These stupid foolish friends, they egg him. Provoke means cucuk. They egg him and say, hey, Shizam, you are a hero, no? You can do so many fantastic things. You see that even some of the girls are like that. So his college friends are not only boys, are girls also. So the people very proud, like a macho hero like that. All right. So the students say, well, do it lah. Show us. You see, your skill fantastic. We challenge you lah. If you can do it, all this, I'll give you a treat in the canteen lah. All those foolish statements of impulsive young people. And this fella also, if he had got Dhamma education, he would not be like that lah, right? So the ego booster really, yes, of course, I'll take up your challenge. I'll do it. Wow, then the girls clap and clap. So he started to push his bike already lah. But there were other friends who were good friends. They knew it was very, very dangerous, isn't it? To race along the road on one wheel of the motorbike. So an accident may happen, isn't it? He may hurt himself. So these are the ones which are the wise friends. So like this one say, oh no, 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 please don't do it, don't do it. No, 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 no lah, no lah. But you find that he wouldn't want to listen to the wise and the good ones. You listen to the foolish ones, the fools lah. And this is what happens in the world today. Good at wise at wise, don't want to follow. Influenced by the bad ones. And this is not only among the young people, even among the adults. That's why they get scammed. They get cheated. Online cheating. Conned by people over the internet and lose adults, And then they are also qualified and professional people. So you see, it's very true. Even though the police have warned, you be careful, a lot of people, and then also some counseling authorities, all they don't want to listen. Right? They listen to their friends, I made this money, I can get all this, people bluff you lah. And so you see today in the newspaper, so many got cheated, got scammed, and then even got cheated, offering high-paying jobs, flying over to Cambodia or Laos and so on. And later on, they found it was a scam, and they were sort of caught and put into like jails, the buildings which are, lock up everything you cannot. So you have to do the work of this of this syndicate people to scam other people. And then if you don't do that, you just torture you. All those things are a lot of problems. Why? Because they don't want to follow the wise things. So very important from young, actually, you must learn the Dhamma. Right? So just now I already told you, the few well-meaning students tried to stop him, saying that it was too dangerous to carry out, since the roads were not in good condition, But this Shizam refused to listen. Why are you so scared, don't be a coward, pengecut. You will scold them back. So he got out his bike, ready for the act. To like something like put up a show, and then people will clap. He loved the thrill and all those things. And today, you still have that so prevalent happening. You see the reports. You can see video clips also. Ramping and all those things. And then now you have the cyclists also. Lanjat or Lanjat or don't know what. The cyclists, young boys, maybe 13, 14 years old only, And they, at night, they bring out their bicycles, and they have modified the bicycles already, can speed and all this. Terrible. I don't know how they got the money. So parents are responsible actually also. So certain things will happen. I think recently, also, right? A motor car with this lady coming back from night duty, because sometimes the firms have to work at night. Wow, they made here with this all fellas, the daredevil cyclists, all those in the road. So either cyclists or motorcyclists, you find the same principle of recklessness, and then accidents happen. Some will kill them. So let us now go on to number 7 now. Right. So maybe along the roads, there were some obstacles. So they cleared. The friends say, this one, this stone, everything, rock, we move them aside. So that, but actually they didn't realize the condition of the road was not good, you see. Right? Maybe it was start quite some time ago already. So there might be potholes and other dangerous things. What they could clear would be the big things that they could see. Maybe some pieces of wood lying along blocking the way, they cleared that only. So then, this Shizam pushed the bike to one end of the road, right? And then he will race to the other end, and the people will be at the right spot to see this. But then, those people who were not so far away from him, right? Maybe 1/3 of the road or something like that. But they noticed, these good students, a few of them noticed there was an oil spill on the road, I know, to let you an idea, I put this image, some oil there, And then, when it's in the daytime, as the sun, it can reflect. So from a certain distance, you can see the rainbow colors, the reflection of the oil surface. So, and this Shizam was going to start already, to speed and then to go on one wheel already. Ahead was this oil spill. So then these friends, very good friends, started to shout. He was a distance away. Shizam at a distance could not see, but some of the friends were maybe further down the road, so they could see. They shouted. No time to run there and tell him. So they shouted, "Stop, berhenti, danger ahead, oil spill." All the words they shouted at the top of the voices. But too late. Probably he could hear some sound, but he couldn't make out. He was so involved with the the revving the motorbike, zoom, 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 so noisy also, how to hear the shouts, isn't it? So they started to shout. The great danger of oil spill. When there is oil spill all on the surface of the road, and you ride over it, even not speeding also, you can topple over. The motorbike can slip and then it collapse, and then if it's on the main road, oncoming vehicle can knock against you or go over you. I remember I had a motor accident, not oil spill, because of a pothole. Many, many years ago. So I was going to the Buddhist Association, Jalan Manggis, because there was an American speaker coming. I had to go to open the door and so on to get ready. So it was drizzling a bit, so I was riding my motorbike quite slowly. I don't ride beyond 30 kilometers per hour one. So, and there was this pothole and there was this light rain cover, so I didn't know there was a pothole. So I ran over the motorbike, ran over the pothole, So of course the motorbike lost the balance and the motorbike fell. And then I fell off of the motorbike and hammered my knee on the road, and she's sitting there, shocked already. And then also some bruises and so on. Then I noticed very fast everything happened, ahead of me were oncoming vehicles. It was 7 something, I think. Getting dark already, getting the dark. The vehicles were coming, I say, had it. This vehicle, now I'm at the center of the road, they will go over me. Right? Because it's not their fault. So I fell against the pothole and so on. So, the thoughts I say, I had it. So I'll kena this accident. Either I will die or my legs will go off. So tomorrow I'm supposed to bring a group of people to Penang in my van for meditation, retreat. All these thoughts went on my mind so fast. But the next moment, everything was very fast. The big vehicles, like vans and the small lorries, all did not go over me now. They were riding quite slowly, and then they just avoided me and then parked their vehicles on the side, one or two vehicles by the side. And then so nice, I came forward and asked, how are you? Are you hurt? I said, it's not your fault, it's my fault, and so on. So nice, you know. Wow. Good blessings. Maybe protection by devas. Otherwise, I would have died and then won't be able to give you this Dhamma sharing also. And then later on, one or two of the students, they were going for the talk and they were passing the way also at that time. So they helped me to go back. And you know, I found some minor bruises on my knee area, everything. And then I applied first aid and so on. And then I went again to go and tend to the Dhamma talk. So that's how I injured the knee. The next day, I still brought the people there to the, but until today, no, also I have the effects of the accident. Anyway, so let us continue with the next slide. So like just now I say, the road was clear and then too late, the warning. It was too late, as I told you. It was too late, the warning was too late already. So Shizam was already speeding down the road already, like that lah. You can see, I put in to give you an idea that you'll be interested to listen to the story. You're speeding around the road already, And then after that, reach a point, you will lift up the front wheel. And that time, the motorbike was near the oil spill already, the oil patch, So as he neared the thing, he lifted up. He didn't see already everything. Was so fast. He was speeding and watching ahead. He didn't realize that anyway we were too late already to avoid the oil spill. You want to avoid it, you will crash into the side. You cannot really too late already. So his back wheel, you can see like this. The back wheel traveled over the oil spill. That means the back wheel of the motorbike went over the oil spill, the oil patch. And of course, it was very dangerous. So the bike skidded. Out of control already. Of course, this is just one of the images of accidents that happened like this. So he sent Shizam flying across the road, Right? Of course, he hit. Luckily, maybe there was no vehicle to go over him. If the vehicle had gone over him, he might have died also. But it was a terrible accident. The impact was so great and the speed, and then being thrown off the motorbike and hit on the road. So, of course, he was wearing a helmet. Right? But the impact was so great, I don't know whether the helmet came out or not. So he was in an unconscious state already. Right? The injury was bad already, because you imagine a tire accident. So let us see what happened. Did he die of the injuries? Right. So of course, people nearby quickly call the ambulance. Serious case. As you find that some Olympic riders that had the accident also, very serious, lying on the road. So they called the ambulance. So the ambulance came. So they quickly rush this Shizam to the hospital. And of course, emergency already. So they saw it was terrible. The leg was injured very badly already. So if they don't do something, the gangrene will set in. The bleeding also difficult to stop. And so they knew they had to perform the emergency operations. And not only were the legs affected, they said they had to operate off the legs, right? Maybe operate certain parts of the legs, maybe not the whole leg or whatever. Anyway, there were operations. But because he had injured the spine, the backbone, tulang belakang, because he fell, great impact, right? So the spine was affected already. So once your spine gets serious injuries, it can make you paralyzed. I've known of family friends also like that. Went for swimming, then jump down in the waterfall area there, hit against the rock, and then injured the spine, and then became paralyzed. Many cases, right? So this case was a motor accident. There were some swimming accidents also, and so on. And the other type of accidents falling from the mountain area and so on. But this was a motor accident which could have been avoided actually, right? So badly, and then they perform whatever operation needed on the leg or whatever parts. But spine are quite difficult. Once it's already injured, how are you going to operate the spine? You die, man. The central nervous system, no. So they told the parents everything that he would never be able to walk again, right? So he became paralyzed, paraplegic. So he will be like bedridden, and then he were to move out. Then he had to be helped to go into a wheelchair, wheel a thing, right? And then 小便大便 want to pass motion, right? And then want to urinate. All also affected already. You can't do it. You got to wear pampers lah, or you get certain gadgets lah. All these things. I imagine you are like a vegetable on the bed. It's very, very terrible. You have seen pictures of that, everything. Right? So let's see what is next now. So now we go to number 10. So it was a great blow to Xizam. Now, with respect to this, I think you might have heard of this the great Dhammaduta worker, Brother O Kim Ling, right? So he sang many Buddhist hymns, like Old Suffering World and so on. So when he was a teacher, 20 plus, I think 20 plus, he was posted to rural area in Sarawak, and the facilities were very bad, so they have to take their bath along the rivers and so on. And then there were students staying nearby also. He was a very, very good teacher, good man, right? So what happened one day, there was an accident. There's an accident in the river there. Or maybe he had a fall or something like that, hit against the road, the rock, not the road, hit against the rock, and he affected the spine also like that. And he became paralyzed at 20 something. And today he's, I think, probably nearly 60 already. So he already, affected, very pitiful. But he had a very strong mind because he had the Dhamma. And we know that some things happen like this are due to the karma. But some things, because in this case here, is due to foolishness, right? Present life foolishness causing the accident, lack of mindfulness, and not willing to listen to advice. But his case was a freak accident, right? So he, could still speak, but then he had to be helped. Even drinking water also has to be fed with the food, and then changing the pampers. He came to our association once. We carried the wheelchair right to the auditorium for him to give the talk. He could still give good talks and speech, except that from the probably upper part, from near the above the waist lah. I think above the waist downwards all paralyzed already. So this case was like that lah. Shizam. So now let's see what will happen to Shizam now. So you can see this operation, emergency operation. This is not the actual picture, right? You would not usually you will have a team of doctors lah. You will have to apply the GA because it's very painful operation if you don't have a general anesthesia, isn't it? So you have specialist doctors, orthopedic surgeon, and so on. Then the operation, all this will take a long time, many hours. So you see the great suffering. Why? Because of a person's not wise enough, not knowing the Dhamma, right? And doing foolish things out of recklessness, heedlessness, refusing to listen to parents and so on, and these things happen like that, right? So now let us go on to slide number 10 now. So as I said just now, Shizam 人家起參了，起參 very 起參了 that's Hokkien. Many of you don't understand. Shizam was paralyzed in the lower part of the body already. Of course, couldn't walk for the rest of the life already, right? Got to be either lying on the bed, or maybe they will have some physiotherapy, right, to massage the hands or certain parts of the body and even the leg also. But then, of course, it might have some improvement, but already the doctor said, he couldn't move for the rest of his life. So had to be confined to the wheelchair if we were to move. And then he had to be helped. There must be the caregivers, usually family members. It's terrible, isn't it? So not only has he brought the suffering to himself, but he has caused suffering to other people, the family members also, isn't it? So you will see what was written there. Shizam was paralyzed in the lower part of his body. He was bedridden. and had to depend on the wheelchair and caregivers, people to look after him, right? They say even the 小便大便, that means to go to the to urinate or to pass motion, all these you need to be helped. You can't get up and then you are lucky lah, right? You can walk to the toilet or no, at night also you can get up and go to the toilet. We are very, very blessed, lucky. But you see, in fact, not only he, in the world, you have thousands and thousands of people who have this problem, and that is dukkha. Some cases, people ask, why like that? Why like that? In certain cases, you find the karma is not because of past karma. Oh, my bad karma, because of the past bad karma. That's why now I have this accident. It's not like that. It's present. Present karma also works. But in this case, it's obvious. He was reckless driving, speeding, right? All the stunts, not wanting to listen to people. So it's a present doing. But in certain cases, we have seen in Rumah Kana Cacat, right? So you're born into the world already like that, the poor child already just that type of condition, paraplegic, cacat lah, in other words. He couldn't walk, not only couldn't walk, couldn't talk, and all those things. This one could be a karma effect, right? So you have to distinguish, don't say that everything past karma. Many things are due to our present stupid doing also. You walk along the road, not mindful, chit-chatting away, joking, everything along the road. And then what happens? You get knocked down by a motorcyclist, or you fall into a drain, or you kick against a big stone and fall and hurt. I've also heard of the cases, just falling, tripping over a stone and then fracture the ankle, and then out of action for a few months, which means got to rest. The one still could be cured. So you see a lot of things due to the present situation. So this Shizam, looking at the situation, he was very sad and he cried. Young man now reduced to this state already. I've seen actual cases, young people, so he was very depressed, sorry for himself. And then now only he realized his foolishness. His foolishness in not observing the safety warnings, not in listening to the advice of the parents, the teachers, and all the wise friends. And what did he listen? Bad advice from lousy friends. And he himself also. He did not actually listen. You actually get to think for yourself also. Then only he understood really clearly. Better to be safe than sorry. That's why the title of the story is Better to be safe than sorry. The story of Shizam. Right? So it's very good to learn the problem through a story. And this story teaches very important lessons of life. Right? So of course, he'll be quite miserable, right? And because he will regret. But actually, feels compassion for him also. Right? He learned the lesson. So he should start the life in a new style, really. Just as Kim Ling, due to the this one was a past karma one, Kim Ling. A freak accident, he was very careful, everything but still happened. He accepted it. And then he went on his life. The accident happened and became paralyzed 20-something. Today he's nearly 60 and still living a very constructive life. He could still sing, and he had to earn his living by giving tuition from his wheelchair, using the speech. You see. So it's still going to be possible. There was another case of the person without the arms and without the legs, Nujovic or what, right? So he was still very positive. So it's quite sad, this sort of case. Let's look at slide number 11 now. Now, so there are very important life lessons we have to learn, right? It's better to be sorry, better sorry than late, isn't it? So you pay attention to this, be careful, and then you won't regret later on in the life, and your mind state will be affected, isn't it? So of course, when you look at the pictures, I have this one, Pandu Cerma Jiwa Selamat, careful driving, safe soul. You can say your mind will be more peaceful, because you will drive carefully, safely, reach your destination safe and so on. So your heart and mind happy, peaceful. If you don't drive carefully, recklessly you drive, then your mind and your heart will not be peaceful, right? So you see, if drivers all follow traffic rules like this, everything, no untoward accident happen. Even motorbikes, properly helmet, and then they don't speed. So very careful, check the motorbike's condition and so on. Last time when I was giving guidance classes in the association, I used to tell my students, Form 6 students, Form 5 even, some also, you come to for the guidance classes on the motorbikes. So I would wait for them. So on the ground floor of our first building, so wow, some speed into the association compound, to bike the bike, speeding into the compound, you can unlock somebody, isn't it? So then sometimes as they were speeding into the compound, wanting to park, they look inside the building, they would see me sitting there, So they saw me sitting there, quickly brake, quickly brake, quite dangerous, isn't it? So I let them park and so on. Then after that, I will call the fellow up. I don't scold people. I will tell them nicely. I say, you speed into the compound is not proper, dangerous, and then I give him all the advice, right? And I say, you suddenly stop, dangerous also. So they say, thank you, very old. Anyway, I say, you be careful, I just advise you. And there were cases, they come in, without the helmets, they don't wear the helmets. The helmet do not put in the basket of the motorbike. Then I call them up again. I say, right, it's a law, no, you have to put on the motorbikes and so on. Hey, don't worry. I say, I'm not worried. He say, my friend, the police, my police is the friend. Oh, I give this type of answer. Maybe he was joking. But anyway, I did advise him. All sorts of situations I encountered, interacting for 20, 30 years with the young people. So life lessons you have to learn, wise and compassionate people. Compassionate with metta, you think of other people also, isn't it? Right? You feel for other people. You don't want other people to suffer also. If you do the wrong thing. So you have the wisdom, you have the compassion, then you know already that I must drive my vehicles very carefully. I must follow the traffic rules and laws. But today, you see, people speeding, overtaking recklessly, and then breaking the traffic rules, red lights, beat the lights, and then red light also cross. I've noticed this. I was careful. A red light already, I know I don't cross. But the other side, red light, the will still cross. So my side, green light already, but I'm careful to say, let these stupid people pass first. So you must have wisdom and think of other people. What happens if anybody in your family gets knocked down and then suffer terrible injury? How will you feel? That person driving recklessly, as one of my friends at Buddhist Association, his wife was knocked down by a Form 4 student motorbike, recklessly. The motorbike was driving, and the wife fell, hit her head, and passed away later on. So you see, you can cause much suffering and regret for your whole life, So wise and compassionate people will always drive their vehicles, whether it's a motorbike, bicycle, riding a bicycle, or a car, or a lorry, or a truck, whatever vehicle you are using on the road, moving. And today you see so many accidents are due to carelessness, speeding, reckless driving, not following the traffic rules and regulation. And then also we must drive with mindfulness and concentration. Very important, isn't it? Imagine the driver, if he's not concentrating and not mindful, right? As he's driving, he's looking at the SMS message. I've seen motorcyclists riding motorbike and also trying to read the SMS in their mobile phone. Wow, even Einstein, the genius, cannot do two things at one time. It's so dangerous, isn't it? How can you do two things? But there's just a few seconds of loss of the mindfulness, everything, you can have an accident. Not only you hurt yourself, you hurt other people. So that's foolish. In certain countries, they have already got laws, very strict laws enforced. When you're driving, you cannot use your mobile phones. But today, I see so many in the cars also, chit-chatting away the mobile phone, one hand on the mobile phone and the other hand on the steering wheel. So you are inviting trouble. Because when you drive, you must have mindfulness, full concentration. Some people, they drive long distance, as Ajahn Dhamma Buddha was telling a few disciples, they will put on the Dhamma talk. That one should be okay because your ears just listen to a good Dhamma talk and you still drive with mindfulness concentration. But the worst thing is to look at the mobile phones or try to read certain things somewhere. Ayo. And then if you listen to very, very hot music, they start to dance also at the steering wheel. That also dangerous one. Actually, you use your wisdom, you know what to do. So do not speed when you drive. That's another important thing. Actually, for those, last time I told my students, you're in the habit, you have picked up the habit from young, from the time you started driving, riding a motorbike. Then the habit stuck to you already, cannot change. So you have to change by force already. I told them the method also, mindfulness, program mindfulness within the mind. And then I said, maybe you can stick a sticker at that on your dashboard, in this case, the front of the motorbike. You put there, beware, speed thrills, but kills. Then put the word kills there, big letters. Then you look at it, you remind yourself, until the time comes, you already change your bad habit. You will never regret it. It's better to be safe than sorry also, isn't it? And then some drive so recklessly, weaving in and out of the traffic jam. Some of the motorbikes. And then the worst thing I've seen, even motorcyclists, you can actually have one pillion rider with a helmet. I've seen, wow, this man or even a woman fetching two children at the back as pillion riders. And then sometimes the children not even wearing the helmets. But the driver, the rider, the adult wearing, which means that you don't mind your children dying. I don't know why people can take such risks. They should just ponder about it's better safe than sorry, better safe than sorry, isn't it? So actually, you can share this presentation with your friends and so on. You are doing a good thing, meritorious action. You're giving warning to people so that people will not go into terrible states of dukkha. So the other point that you have to note is that we have to drive with care and concern. Drive with care and concern for their safety. You must always think of the safety concern. You have to maybe sometimes give a thought. Now, if I drive recklessly, I cause an accident. And then somebody loses the father, loses the mother, loses the son. It will be so terrible, isn't it? So how will I feel? So you know how to reflect wisely so you will follow the traffic rules and don't speed, all those things. Just as the boy who knocked down my friend's wife. So, of course, he had to face the penalty. He was maybe underage, no license also and so on. So probably you will be barred from having a license for a certain number of years or whatever anyway. But then you imagine the trauma. It caused the death of a mother. So when I attended the wake service, the funeral, at the time, my friend got two sons, maybe just lower secondary for 1 or 2. I couldn't remember, so many years ago, crying because the mother was killed by reckless driving, a reckless driver. So when you know how to reflect on this, then you would not do so many foolish things. So this story of Shizam really teaches us very important Dhamma lessons, life lessons, for the well-being of yourself, the safety of yourself, and also the peace of your family, and also other people. So don't say, I get this accident because my bad karma. No, you cannot just every time blame on karma. It's your mindlessness, heedlessness. So I hope this presentation conveys very important messages that people of all religions can actually follow this presentation. It's not only Buddhists, It's just happened to all people all over the world. And these are important reminders. And you have a story that makes it more impactful, right? So now let us go to the last. I hope you are able to follow Dhamma lessons. Story easy lah. But the Dhamma lessons, you have to reflect. Not only once, no, many times, no. And then also maybe it's good if you are a good person, you follow rules and you have some Dhamma. Maybe you can also do a very good thing of advising some of your friends. And even tell the story. You are doing a meritorious action. You generate good karma for yourself, you know. Why? Because you're trying to help people. You don't get money, right? Your intention is good. You want to have good advice for your friends, everything. So it's good. If you want to share, you feel free to share the whole PowerPoint. If not, maybe you just tell them, summarize ways of the story or something like that, lah, right? So this is the point I want to emphasize. Lah. Now let us go on to the last slide already, I think. So this is the live lessons to learn. Now we come to the end already. Now, this actually not only applies to driving, you know, doesn't apply to just using a vehicle that's moving on the roads. You know. It applies to all the things in our life that we do, whether it's in sport, whether it's in your career, or your work, or whether recreation, you go out, right, to enjoy yourself, right, or whether you are at home doing some house chores and so on. Very important things. So that's why I sum up by this general thing that applies to all. The story only on the driving, right? But here it applies to all. Whatever actions we do through our mind, speech, and body, three doors, you know, that we can do an action that is karma based. What we think. So we have to be mindful, right? We must not think of the bad things, careless things, right? Bad states of mind, restless, right? And then also reckless, careless, restless, mindless, let the mind go to the future, wanting this and that, not being mindful also. So all those negative states of mind, we must cut. And then also, more easy to follow the speech, that we must be careful, mindful of what we speak, not speak recklessly, use bad words, harsh words that hurt other people and cause suffering, as I said just now. Careless with our speech, not nonsense things. Someone lying, right? Not cautious, and basically most important, not mindful of what you speak. And of course, the body, what you do. So what you do, you have to be careful that you are not doing the thing heedlessly, foolishly, right? Carelessly, recklessly. And because you are restless, in a restless state, you go and do something foolish. Like this case, speeding. Many people are restless. They go and do all those dangerous sport or dangerous activities, Some are restless. Go and drink the liquor. I'll go and see the prostitute, restless. So those things, you have to be very careful because they can bring suffering, dukkha, to yourself, to your family members, and also to others. And you will regret for the rest of your life. And if you do all those unwholesome things of the speech and the body, the wrong things, the bad things, you can say, the bad karma is there. The bad karma is there, and they can have their fruits sometimes later part in this life, or very fast. You can see the suffering already, or we bring forward to the future lives and so on. So you see how dangerous it is when we act in the wrong ways because of mindlessness, carelessness, restlessness, heedlessness, recklessness, all these. So now we have come to the end. It's coming to about 1 hour already. So I hope the boys and girls, these are more suitable for the secondary school, and also college and university students and the youth members, and also parents, grandparents who can actually advise and guide their children or their grandchildren. Even at standard 5, standard 6 level, they tell them already, standard 4, standard 5, tell them suitable for the level, so they will not fall into the trap when they drive vehicles. So it's very, very important even for the adults to know this and convey the message to the younger generation. So to all you students or in the secondary, tertiary, youth members, parents, grandparents, and all the teachers of moral education, I would like to express my thanks and sadhu to all of you for taking time to follow this presentation and also having the effort and also the mindfulness, the patience to listen to this presentation, this sharing. So let us say sadhu 3 times, right? So we have our arms together. Let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all of you, right, be well, happy, careful, mindful, not restless, not reckless, not heedless. So you practice all these, you will be going on the right track in life, right? So thank you, sadhu. Take care.